What's up? Good morning, guys. Yeah, you thought we weren't going live, but here we are. Had a few things I had to take care of this morning, but we're here, and I'm gonna get some trades in on stream today with you guys. What's up? How we doing? Good morning. Patel, Vinny, Derek, John, good to see you guys. Pennies, what's up, brother? Lucas, Vinny, good morning. Good morning. Let's take a look here. So the market is not looking too bad this morning, huh? To me, it looks like we're in a big range. Honestly, about 100, 110 points, which is cool. I like big ranges. It makes trading like buy low, sell high a little bit, I don't want to say tougher. In a lot of ways, it's easier, but you have to give it more room. Okay, if you're buying low, selling high, buying back lower, you got to give it a little more room on the stops. Because the range is wider, right? The ATR is a little bit higher. We're sitting at 22 right now on a 2-minute chart at, 11 o'clock Eastern, which is not bad at all. But the beauty of this kind of movement, if it continues, we'll see if it does, is it gives you a lot of opportunities. It gives us a lot of opportunities to trade continuation as well inside of the range. So I'm a big fan of this kind of movement. I will be executing here on stream off of the 2-minute chart. Today, this is a 2-minute chart, what you're looking at right now. Let's get it rocking and rolling, man. Javaz, Brandon, good morning. Chris, how we doing? Nia, good morning. How we doing so far today, guys? You guys, I'm sure a lot of you have taken a bunch of trades already, huh? How we doing? Rick, Jason, Taz, Tony, good to see you guys. All the regulars, man. Dominic, there's been trouble above the 930s. Yeah, well, trading range, right? Trading range. Okay, so. Yeah, 2-minute chart is what we're looking at right now. I'm looking at this big range here. Continuation inside of the range if we can get it. And then, we have to be ready for this kind of thing to develop if we see this, because what we've gotten a lot lately is on these hard clean pushes, regardless if it's this, this is actually, believe it or not, not super common to see this where you get a hard push. We've talked about this before, and basically an instantaneous reversal. Usually these pushes flatten out and then either make a second leg or fade to get this hard push, because you have to understand what's going on here, right? Hard bull push, all of a sudden the bulls lose control, and within 2 to 4 minutes, the bears are all of a sudden in control. That's not a very common thing that occurs, so it's interesting to see that today, even more representative, I would say, of a range market. However, of course, we had to figure out where the top was of the range was going to be first. That was the first test on the day, really. At least since the open. But let's see what we can get. Boring trader, 0-2, but great compliance with my system. That's all you can do. And 0-2, man. 2 is not a sample size to worry about. Just keep taking good trades. Hey, Giovanni, good morning. Trading Chris, how we doing? Chris K got hammered trying to call that top on that bull run. Then made it back when I got the downside I was looking for on trade number 2, now sitting close to break even. Yeah, Chris, did you take a trade in here? Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. Fighting the market can really hurt you. I used to do that a lot. I really did used to do that a lot. Like, I'm talking years ago. This was on stocks. Not even options really yet. This was on stocks. I used to do that a lot. I would see, mainly to the long side, you see big crashes and the thing's down, 5.5%. And it's like, it hasn't been down more than 6% in a year. And you buy, and then it, falls 11% that day. You can't. If you're going to trade ranges, betting against the close of the bar, no matter the time frame, I think you have to already be in a well-defined range, or at least a reasonably defined range like we are today, right? or just trade continuation. It's just a lot easier to make money at the end of the month if you do that. In my experience, trying to time things, I have always gotten burned. At least without a setup there. Steven, how we doing? Calinow, up on the new account. Good work. Calinow won the free Take Profit Trader 50K test account yesterday. Got him the account same day, and he's up, man. Good to see. All right, a little bit of a sideways range here right now. A little early, so maybe we see this turn into more of like a wedge. Right, we're not really getting a test up. We could, of course, get a second leg. I would actually prefer that, because then that keeps this channel wide, 100 plus points, which gives us a lot of scalping options. Let's see how this bull, I'm sorry, bear bar closes. I'd be interested. That's asking a lot. I would be interested in getting short if we could see a bear bar close beneath, I'd say about 893. Like 893, we'll say. Because right now, I gotta say, I think we're looking at a wedge with a flat top. So I've talked about this constantly. When you have this kind of scenario, and I don't mean to make it sound like, oh, I've talked about this constantly because it's so obvious. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is probability-wise, which is how we deal around here. We do not deal in certainties. I am more interested in taking a trade in the direction of the break if it breaks the ascending or descending level rather than the flat. I will also take the flat. However, it's more likely that the flat sees a break attempt. So if the ascending or descending level, in this case, the ascending level of support, I would say has about a 45% probability of breaking, whereas the flat top, in my experience, maybe 55%. If this snaps up, that tells me that the bears had to be a little stronger than maybe the bulls need to be to break this. Again, we're speaking in general terms here, probabilities, not certainties. Huge mistake. People come in, they're like, oh, bro, that's an obvious buy. It's like, you got a lot of years ahead of you. I hate when people talk like that because it just makes me sad that they're actually feeling that way, because I know what's coming. Because I've been there. Let's see if we can get these bears closing beneath 93. All right, minute 45 out from the rollover here, this 2-minute bar. And I gotta say, I don't think I'd enter with a stop entry. If I could get a fill below this wick low with a limit sell, I would attempt to get filled on a limit on the rollover. In bigger continuation markets, if you try to get filled on rollovers with limit orders, you usually will get left behind. But there's enough overlap right now that I'm cool trying a limit order rather than, jumping the gun with a stop. All right, 30 seconds. See if the bears can put something together. I will get copy trader geared up, ready to go. Yeah, nothing here. Nothing here. On to the next bar, 2 minutes out. Again, that's the beauty of the 2 minute. You're never more than 2 minutes away from a potential setup. If you're impatient, you know, let's be real, it does help. The 5 minute chart, if you are struggling with being impatient, it can be long, and I think you can only will your way so much. I love the 5 minute chart, but again, if you're struggling with patience, that can be an issue. The 2 minute chart keeps you locked in because it's always dangling that carrot of, hey, maybe there's a setup on this bar. But at the same time, you know, you might end up making worse decisions 4 hours from now if you're trading a 2 minute. All day. I don't think I've gotten there yet, but give me 20, 30 years and maybe we'll get there. Maybe it'll be a little too fast. All right, 50 seconds out here. Let's see how this bear bar closes. Mike, failing to recognize chop soon enough. That is my struggle. Yeah, you know what, Mike? Really good rule of thumb that has helped me tremendously. If you're confused, assume we're in a trading range. Now, what do I mean confused? And cue the jokes of always being confused. If you're looking at it and you're like, I don't know, there's like in here, right? This bar here is just straight confusion to me. Trading range, right? And now here we are, at least wedge, which umbrella term, trading range. So that defaults to buy low, sell high mentality. All right, see how this bar closes. Yeah, I'm gonna slap that on short, and I will suck my stop up to there, and I will drive manually. Let's see here. There we go. All right. I'll drive manually, I'll cut it manually if I need to, and I'll take profit manually, but leave those orders out as protective orders. Again, the stop, in case we get news, I certainly want to be out of there. And the take profit in case we get news, which we saw a lot of yesterday. Did you guys see that yesterday in the afternoon, man? Well, more like midday, after the stream. I guess maybe a little on stream as well, but especially after the stream, we were seeing a lot of like good volatility, and then all of a sudden, you know, 50 points out of nowhere. We saw that at least a few times. Kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest with you. Oh, no. Oh. Okay, we'll move on. That was a really shitty fill. Okay, so I should have made about 1,200 bucks on that. I made 800 bucks. Oh god, that hurts. You guys see that? We dropped down to I think I saw, I don't know if you see it because you're seeing half the frames that I'm seeing. I saw I think 1150 at least. And we sucked back to 850, and I was too slow. Points in the money, that is. So that was kind of ugly, but move on. That's right, Dominic. Water under the bridge. That kind of thing, you know what, guys? Honestly, that's going to happen to a lot. It happens in your favor, too, though. It's kind of like news. When you leave yourself exposed equally, if not slightly better to the profit-taking side, as far as, you know, you guys see me leaving my limit orders out and then driving manually. News is 50-50, so sometimes it'll hit and just stop you out instantly. It's like, shit. And then sometimes it'll hit your take profit and it's like, yay, you didn't really do anything wrong or good. It just is what it is. So, you know, there it sucks back and loses me 3 points. Again, I still made 800 bucks. Well, sorry, 785 on that trade. But I probably should have made more like 11 or 1,200 bucks But in the same way, when I took it off at like 1,100 bucks, you know, sometimes you'll make 1,500 bucks because it flushes through before you get a fill or before your limit order really hits the market. So again, goes both ways. We'll move on. It's part of scalping. Happens all the time. Wife's in the chat. I think I just got proposed to in the chat. What do you guys think? All right, we are 35 seconds out. Yeah, let's see how this bar closes. I would need to see it growing, at least equal size. Well, I'd say at least equal size to this bar, which would be a little smaller than this body, but that's okay. So honestly, a close probably down near 60, I'd be cool with. 10 seconds. Let's see if we get a flush down through. I gotta be ready in case we get it. Yeah, there's nothing. Nope, on to the next candle. Michael, pass another eval, 700 away on 3 others, trying to go big. Fucking right, Michael. Good work. Good work. Now scale that thing horizontally. And man, let me tell you, when you have 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 accounts, the numbers have no other option but to start getting damn big. Scale it horizontally, man. Yeah, maybe it'll take a few extra weeks, but most likely it'll actually be much faster. Because scaling vertically, unless you get incredibly lucky, you're going to just blow through the accounts. So maybe you get lucky and get a payout scaling vertically, fine. But I got to be honest with you, it'd be a lot faster to just go to the casino and put it all on black. It would be, scaling vertically. You'd just be better off. If you're like, I need to make money now, that's straight up, that's the reality. So you're here to trade, right? Because if you were here to just literally gamble, you would be at the casino instead. So scale this shit horizontally. It's again, you get up to 10, 20, 30 accounts, the numbers have no choice but to get big, even if you're trading really small. All right. Big wick back. No trade there. Gotta move on. Mike, I was 400 from passing today. Days of base hits. I let myself trade. Overtrade the chop. Poof, gone. You know what, Mike? I think you should be cool with that. Because, listen, trade... Again, it sucks. I get it. But trading the chop is a huge, huge trap that everyone gets caught in it, and everyone has to kind of try to figure it out. Again, Mike, best thing that I can tell you that I think will help you and save you a lot of money, if not make you a lot of money. If you're confused, buy low, sell high. Unless you're confused because the volatility is ridiculous because news is hitting or something, right? That's obviously an exception to that rule. But if things are just overlapping like crazy and it's green, red, doji, small green, red, doji, what's going on? You're confused. Trading range. If you're gonna do anything at all, buy low, sell high, and cut them when they break out. Not 2 points, obviously, but if they break out the size of a bar, the average bar in the range, cut it. Don't hold, because you're probably breaking out and gonna do this. If you bought low and didn't cut it, you're screwed right now. You're well, I mean, you're not screwed. You're down 30, 35, 40 points. But that's not great when you were scalping for 10 or 5, right? In a small little trading range. If you're confused, trading range. If you're going to do anything in a trading range, buy low, sell high, unless it's a big-ass trading range, in which case you have room to do continuation trades. This is not that. And here, there's less confusion, right? Here, tons of confusion, trading range. If you're doing anything at all, buy low, sell high. For most traders, honestly, I think probably do nothing and wait for this. Best thing I can tell you. Damn right, Joe. Christian, good morning. Good morning. We've been live for what, about 25 minutes. We took one little scalp so far. It was kind of weird. We made 800 bucks on it. It was a weird trade. You can see it if you watch the replay, but we're moving on, man. All right, we got 50 seconds left here on this 2 minute. I gotta tell you, I would love to be able to try to hunt some stops down here. I would love to be able to do that. $20 seconds. See what we get. Come on, Bears. Take this shit low. Take it low. Give me a. I want to sell this thing maybe 55. These bulls are wicking in, man. 8 seconds. I don't think we're gonna get it, are we? Huge doji. I'm sorry. Huge wick. Kind of a doji, not really. Yeah, you know, Mike says my practice account is on fire, probably because I trade it later in the day. You know, historically, the case has usually been the afternoon is more noise, the morning is more decisive. But again, this is a 2 minute chart. If we look back toward the open, 8:30 was the open. I mean, this morning was just bizarre. I mean, look at this. This is mass confusion, and you can hardly even buy low, sell high, because it's like 10, 15 points. That's ridiculous. And then finally, things cleaned up here. We've been seeing, that hasn't been unheard of lately, by the way, where, I think I was talking about this maybe a week ago. Maybe less so now. But for a couple weeks there, my performance in the morning was like, okay at best, and then in the afternoon, for some reason, it was just better because the price action was, I was reading it better, and I think a lot of people, that was the case. Before that, like a few months ago, the morning was fantastic and the afternoon was just okay. But again, I don't think you guys should think about it as time of day. Think about it as, you know, how does the price action look? And if you're confused, trading range. If you're doing anything, buy low, sell high. Otherwise, hold off and wait for it to break. When there's doji after doji after doji with a whole lot of wicks, there's not much to do in here. Sorry, but there's not much to do. I mean, even if you want to buy low, sell high, it's hard. You're scalping for maybe 6 points. You could. But it's tough. Okay, 20 EMA on the 5 minutes at 895. This is a 2 minute chart. Again, this is not the EMA I'm looking at. This is the EMA I'm looking at. However, it's been tested, overlapped a lot today, so not thinking about it too much. But it's there, so we'll keep an eye on it. What's up, Danny? Good morning. How we doing? Okay, so let's clean this up a little bit. I'm actually going to remove this. I don't want this to be distracting. So we got 25 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. If we can see a bull bar closing, like up in this region, I don't need it to close above this wick, though I would prefer it. That would be a rollover buy for me. But we have 12 seconds to get it done. I'll get ready. Doji, gotta hold off. Next bar. Trading Chris, getting rinsed, huh, man? What's going on? You trading the chop? I know it seems harmless to trade the chop when there's not really a lot going on, but again, if you're doing anything, buy low, sell high, but probably just wait for it to break. It seems harmless, but the 1,000 paper cut thing is very, very real. Experienced it many times. You know, you're risking a small amount, what seems like a small amount to start, and then all of a sudden, 27 trades later, it's no longer a small amount. Yeah, you see, Chris, this is what I usually think is going on. The algo is saying, that trading Chris, son of a bitch. I hate that motherfucker. It's just stopping you out. All right, 10 seconds here. Not a lot here either. And this is a 2-minute chart we're looking at, so things move quick. You know, ATR when we got on stream was about 22. We're now sitting maybe 16. Yeah, 17-ish on the ATR. That's still manageable. It's all right. All right, 50 seconds here. See if the bulls can put something together. You know, the more dojis we get, the more I start thinking, us sending little bull channel, maybe? But if I give it enough room on the trade, then you can't afford to take a little heat, but, oh man, here we go. May end up sideways here. "12 seconds. What I'm really looking at is these wicks. We close inside of those wicks. Can't do it. Doji, nothing there. B, past 2 weeks, every trade I take is a loser, no matter what strategy setup I go with. I don't know where to go from here. How many trades? How many trades? Alright, pennies, I think that's about enough, brother. Sorry, man, but you gotta go. We're trying. Oh, this is. Yeah, this is a trading range. Exactly this is what I mean. You know, if you're confused, you can look at this every which way. I don't know what to do. Trading range. Best thing that I could possibly do right now, if I'm going to do anything at all, is something like this, right? I mean, you say, okay, well, this is clearly some kind of a bull channel. Maybe you start forming a flat top. It's just the same thing over and over again, man. But I'm gonna remove this. I'll leave this, just for the look. Javaz, I appreciate you being here every day, brother. Good to have all the regulars. Yeah, Joe. You know what? On the 2-minute chart, I really hesitate to even leave the 20 on, because I think all it really does is confuse newer people when they come, because I'm talking about the 20 EMA on the 5 a lot, which this is the 2-minute. I don't know though. I think for me it's maybe just a mental block. Like, I feel like knowing where that is gives me some kind of a sense of comfort, even though I don't use it on the 2-minute. Probably just get rid of it and move on, to be honest with you. But the 20 on the 5 is important. Which, by the way, is what we're currently kind of testing a little bit. Around 93. You know, it's not everything. It's not everything at all, but it has a lot of eyeballs. Creates a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Less so on the 2-minute, because, who the hell trades the 2-minute except us? I like the 2-minute. It's a great balance. Appreciate you, Michael. Okay, so, again, confusion. It's like, well, what the hell do we do? Trading range is the default assumption. Buy low, sell high mentality if we're doing anything. So, what are we looking at here? It's 10 points, 12 at best. So if I'm going to do anything at all, I'm going to be buying down here. However, we have to think about this, right? Because what this is also a flat bottom. Kind of aligning with this wedge, or more so a ascending point of support. So if the flat bottom snaps, I probably got to cut it after the break of this wick, if not the low of this bar, which is approximately the size of one average bar right now, actually a little bit less. ATR is at 15, which, again, that's the average size of a 2-minute bar right now, is what ATR is. You see that aggressive test, flat bottom. I don't like flats. Really not a fan of flats. And when we remove that level, like here, let's look at a different version of the 2-minute. Same chart, just without that level. The flat bottom becomes really, really obvious. I imagine we're going to see that snap. At least attempt to snap. What's up, Gades? How we doing? Okay, ATR is 15. I'm not all that interested in selling high in a slight bull channel. If I'm going to do anything at all here, I'm more interested in trying to buy low. You know, risk 10 to 15 points. Trading range, got to lean into negative reward to risk a bit, right? Keep probability reasonably high for maybe 7 to 10 points on the profit side of things. But here we go, an attempt at a breakout. It's about time. Let's see if the bulls can put that together. Okay, we have 35 seconds. What I'm looking at is this. It's kind of fading though, but I guess the problem is you could also draw it like this. And that turns into kind of a wedge. But again, these are never an exact science. You're always kind of just looking at the range of what everyone else is probably looking at. When would bears have a little more confidence to step in? Probably up in this region. Which means if you see a bull close up here, you know, should I really be getting long? Yeah, the way that this sits right now, probably not. Get rid of this. ATR is at 14. Down from 22 about 45 minutes ago. But if the bulls can break this out a little bit more aggressively, I have a lot more confidence to buy that rollover. Scott, does the Affordable Indicators trade copier consider commissions? Yes, it does with Tradeovate. But if you're using Rhythmic, you enter it yourself. Yeah, Pumpkin, I am using the Affordable Indicators copier. That's the one I'm using. I've been using it for a while now. It's by far the favorite I've used. Thing with copy traders is if you can't trust the thing, it's useless. But Affordable Indicators, I have never had. I'm trying to think. I've never. God, knock on wood. I don't want to say this out loud. I have yet to have any kind of weird glitch on Affordable Indicators that actually cost me money. Which I did have plenty of those with every other copier that I tried. And worse. But man, Joel over there, he knows what he's doing. And no, I have no affiliation with them or anything. I just really like it. Okay, we have about 55 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. You know the bears are looking at an ascending level of resistance, but if the bulls can come through with enough confidence, then all of a sudden I have to buy that rollover for... You know, it wouldn't be a huge scalp, it'd be a relatively small scalp considering the average range of a 2-minute bar right now is about 13. Yeah, it works with both Take Profit and Apex, but if you're using Ninja Trader, which I assume you are, you're going to want to be using probably Rhythmic at Apex and Tradeovate at Take Profit. I know that if people try to go to Rhythmic connections, it doesn't seem to work with Ninja Trader, so you got to mix and match. At least as far as I understand it. Doji, can't do anything. can get a reasonably controlled pullback. Again, a lot of confusion, a lot of overlap, a lot of mixed match bars, a lot of dojis. We have to assume trading range. So if we can get a reasonable pullback, not like a news pullback, right, but reasonable, I'd be willing to get long for a little scalp. Cut it at about the size of a 2-minute bar and move on if I need to. But for me, that's starting to make more and more sense. Jeff, good morning. Hey, James. Good to have you. Well, nothing there yet. Gotta wait till the next bar. Unless something crazy happens in the next 55 seconds. Alright, well there's the rollover still inside of this trading range, so there's nothing for me to do on that bar. On to the next bar. Minute 50 out from the rollover. Hey, Bruce, good morning. James, I'm trading micros. We scale horizontally around here. So trade small in each account, a number of micros, whatever that might be, whatever makes sense for that account, and then you scale the amount of funded accounts. Scaling vertically is a fool's errand. Great for ego, not great for making money. All right, 30 seconds. Better remember this, right? You know the bears are looking at it. Yeah, not quite strong enough for me to take that risk, put that risk on. See the shrinking bull bodies? Small wick, not tremendous on the wick, but small. Still inside of what the bears are looking at, the bear case. Always, I don't care if you're going long, I don't care if you're going short, I always start with the opposite argument. If I'm trying to go long, I look, okay, what are the bears thinking? Because that's who's paying you at the end of the day, right? If I'm trying to go short, I'm thinking, do the bulls have a real case here? If so, what are they thinking? And they're always going to have some kind of case, because probability, you're never going to get above 70%. Most of the time, you're never going to get above 60% probability, again, assuming 1-to-1 to make the numbers easy. All right, if we can get a strong enough close out of the bulls, for me right now, that's 915, 914 and above. Actually, you know what? 915 and above. It'd have to be above 915 because we got this back here. This little flat top. That's a big ask in 10 seconds. Nope, doji close. There's the rollover. Next bar. Okay, now, when the channel is wide enough, what we can do is we can wait for a little bit of a reversion, and then if you get like a small bear bar closing near its low, you can short back to the bottom of the channel, even if it's a bull channel. The problem here is that the entire channel is maybe 20 points wide. 20, 21 points wide. So for that to occur, the reversion has to be very tight. Otherwise, you're shorting, you know, damn near 2/3 of the way back to the start, which for me, I can't justify. All right, there's the rollover. On to the next bar. One sec. All right. Yeah, Joe, you know, negative RR right now is if you're going to take trades, that's what you end up having to do to make the math work. Now is not the time. You know, obviously we're going directional unless you're trading options on an indice. We're going directional, okay? But it's a range market. So, you know, until we see some kind of breakout at the very least, now is not the time to take a directional trade looking for a 3-to-1 reward to risk. The math is, it's too hard to make work. So with this kind of thing, if you're going to take any scalps at all, any trades at all in general, you know, I think negative reward to risk makes the most sense by far. And I think a lot of people, they don't get that because they think, how do you make money if you're risking more than you make? Because probability's high, right? Yeah, so, you know, tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central, that's 2 p.m. Eastern, we do get the FOMC minutes. You know, the minutes were a big deal in 2022 when inflation was the topic at hand. You know, still, with tariffs, we should pay attention to it. For me, I'm going to hold off on trades, of course, around that time, because trading the news is essentially 50-50. But you know, it's not like I'm taking the whole afternoon off. I'll come back after maybe 15-30 minutes and see if there's any scalps to take. Man, ATR is kind of collapsing. We're at about 11.5 right now on the ATR. That's the average range of a 2-minute bar. Averaged across the last 10 2-minute bars. So in the last 20 minutes, the average range of a 2-minute bar is 11.5 points. Which is that's pretty damn tight. But we've seen tighter, so I'll take it for now. See if the bulls can finally break this out. Okay, so remember, we have this little flat top here at 915. 22,915 is the area. Kind of testing that right now. So, you know, I suppose we'll extend this just for the look, just to keep that in mind. But really, that 915 region is kind of what I'm watching. Finally, a bit of a pullback here. Let's see if we can get something reasonable. Big wick back before the close. Obviously, I can't buy that close. But I gotta tell you, had we seen a bear bar closing right about here, a lot of people would say, oh, that's a sell. Trading range, at least for me, trading range, right? I would buy that. But with that wick, I gotta hold off until next bar here. All right, minute 38 out. Bruce, up 438 times 5 accounts, gonna be done for the day. Did not follow the plan, did not hold the profit target, so happy I'm green, but mad I couldn't control my emotions. Well, Bruce, let me ask you this. Was your profit target based on the reality that it's a trading range day? At least currently? If it was, then yeah. Yeah, that's something to work on, of course. But if your profit target was based on the assumption that we were going to see some big trend day, then I would say that you made an adjustment that needed to be made. Adjusting the risk, adjusting the profit target for the reality that it's a range market. But yeah, you know, if you're trading a range market and, you know, you have 10, 15 point profit targets and it's there for a reason because your risk is, you know, maybe 25 and you're trying to get a 1 to 2 reward to risk, trading negative reward to risk in a range, and you're taking it off at 4 points consistently, that's a problem. That's a problem. But, you know, if you broke the plan that was set in place, again, based on it being a range market, yeah, you shouldn't feel great about that, but adjust tomorrow. Bruce, price target felt too big for today. Yeah, you know, I'd love to see you be able to expand on it a little bit more. The feel thing is great, but it gets a lot of people in trouble. But I know what you mean. You got to adjust it for the range. And people become more discretionary as they trade longer, but there's still an element of being robotic. In the early days, I don't know how long you've been trading, but in the early days especially, robotic is, I think, key. Start on the robotic side. It's a spectrum, right? Robotic means like, I do this when this happens, I cut it here, I take profit here. It's automated as far as like my stops and take profits going out, and I leave it, I take the trade, and I let it go. 50 seconds left, by the way, on this 2-minute bar. Discretionary decision making on the other side of the spectrum is like, yeah, this is going higher, buy. Yeah, based on this price action, this is 60% probability this rolls over. That has edge, sell. Everyone that I've ever seen make money at this is somewhere in the middle. Some a little more to the discretionary side, some a little more to the robotic side, but everyone's in the middle. No one is a purist of being robotic or discretionary. So in the early days, to find data, I think you need to be more on the side of robotic with a tiny little bit of discretionary, because you don't really know yet. You haven't looked at enough charts yet. And then as the months and years go on, you do adjust slowly, even weeks, more to the middle of that spectrum. All right, big wick back. Can't do anything on that bar either. We'll get something here. But I'll be back in 2 minutes. We'll get something, I promise. All right. Still chopping around here, huh? We're seeing a lot of... I mean, the range on that last bar was 6.5 points. That's rough. That's pretty damn low. I mean, it's all right. We can still make it work. Just obviously not ideal. And we also have to remember that, you know, for a month or so, we were trading the 5-minute chart because the 2-minute was too wicky. And the 5-minute chart, obviously, the ATR is going to be a little bit higher. So you got to remember, this is a 2-minute chart. The numbers are going to be lower than what you're used to seeing on the 5-minute if you were thinking and comparing it to what we used to talk about on the 5-minute. Again, I go back and forth depending on the market environment. Headline from Trump here, he says, I am not happy with Putin. I am dealing with him. They're meeting in the treehouse. To bitch him out. ATR is sitting around 10 now. It's getting lower. All right, the more and more defined, I gotta say, the more and more defined this channel gets, the more inclined I am to buy low in the bottom third, cut it at about the average size of a 2-minute bar, and look to take, I don't think I can scalp for half the size of a 2-minute bar. That's starting to get kind of low. Maybe 2/3 minimum. Yeah, Vinny, the new XP thing, that's a YouTube update. So I guess you get XP. They're like gamifying it. You get XP from talking. And then I think you can get it from like super chats, but please don't feel the need. Just talking gives you plenty of XP. And then it like ranks you. Alright, let's see here. Again, if we can get a pullback, man, I'd like to buy the lower third of this channel. Risk about the size of an average 2-minute bar. There you go, Joe. Almost like kind of a... it wasn't exactly a breathe and go, but kind of close. What's up, Roarin? How you doing? No, man, they exist for a reason. Please. Please watch them. Okay, that was actually a half-decent close out of the bulls. That was not a bad close out of the bulls. Okay, let's see here if we can get some strength going. Give us a test of this top region. Yeah, you know, Joe, the iPad. The iPad is very good, actually, for teaching purposes. I have it right here. Yeah, I am gonna bring it back. You know, honestly, it's. I have a very big desk, but I run out of room, and the iPad, when it's hooked in, there's a wire, and then I gotta pull it, and it's like my keyboard gets in the way. So I just set it aside and never brought it back, but I'll bring it back. I think it's helpful. All right, but we got a little bit of strength here, more than we've been seeing as of late. Let's see if the Bulls can get something done. Okay, we got 60 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. High of day after the bell today. Is that it? About 42.75, 43. There we go. There's the break of high of day. Actually, no, about 44. It's going to be high of day. Still, there is the break. All right, 30 seconds. See how the Bulls close this up. Let's get rid of this. Copy trader is ready to rock. Let's see if we can get a close above 44. Come on, Bulls. 4 points. 3 points. Take that. 5 seconds. Come on, give us a good close. Got to be above 44. Has to be above 44. It's not above 44. Closing inside a high a day. Got to wait for the next bar. 2 minutes out. Daz, broke every rule in the book today, but I'm back to green. Before I knew Unico, I was happy. Now I'm actually more mad. Yeah, you know what? You should be, because, I mean, look, green is great, but I hate when people say green is green. You should always take green. Be happy about green. There's such a thing as bad green and good red. Right? Intraday. Because a single day is a very small piece of the overall sample size, and you can have these outliers where you break rules and make money. You're going to have plenty of days where you follow the plan and lose money. I know this is really, really hard because the goal here is to make money and provide for our families. However, a goal of yours personally, put the money aside, a goal of yours in your trading, because you just want to be a better trader, the money comes with being a better trader, right? If your goal is to be the best trader you can be, a really hard goal that you should shoot for is that I think internally, and this is very difficult, internally you should try to feel better on a day where you follow the plan and you're red than you feel on a day where you break rules and you're green. There should be a little bit of guilt, I think, in doing so, and there should be pride in following your plan and taking it on the chin and ending red. It's a really, really hard hump to get over, but I think you need to get there. Everyone needs to get there, at least try to get there. It's tough, but it's necessary. All right, here comes the rollover. Big shrinking bull bar. Yeah, big shrinking bull body. Next bar, minute 55 out. All right. All right. We got a minute and 5 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. A lot can happen in a minute 5, but I gotta wait in a situation like this. I gotta wait for the bar to close. If it closed right now, instant rollover buy for me. But we got 50 seconds. We'll see how it closes. I can't have it just get massive, though. I can't have this turn into a 70-point bar. Because that would probably mean news hit. We are getting some Trump headlines, by the way, right now. Market's not reacting too ridiculously, though. All right, 20 seconds. Let's get everything queued up here. Copy trader is locked and loaded. See if we can close above 60. Above 60, I'd buy the rollover. Below 60, can't do it. Ugly. Embarrassing bulls. Come on now. That's fine. On to the next bar here. Minute 45 out. Let's see how this one closes. Okay, so we got 65 seconds. Now, this is a scenario that comes up a lot. Where you see this push, and now there's a lot of options if you get a bear bar. If we had a bear bar close like here, it would not be wrong for me to sell that rollover. However, you got to remember that, like, hey, maybe we just see this. You know, push, trading range. Happens all the time. And if I'm short here, all of a sudden I'm short in the bottom of a trading range. I don't like that. Okay, so for me to get short, it would have to be a more aggressive bear bar in this case. It can't really be a small little bear bar like closing right here. Can't do that. 15 seconds. The probability in this case right now, as it sits currently, is just too high that this turns into a sideways trading range, and then I don't want to be short at the bottom of the trading range, right? So I need to be aggressive to get short. Here comes the rollover. Yeah, it's just not there. Small little bear bar. On to the next bar. One second. Ooh, some volatility, huh? That's a headline from Trump, it seems. He says, it's too time-consuming to make deals. We can do things over the years. We're not hardlined. Okay. That America should collect from nations that ripped us off. All right, here comes the rollover. Still getting some comments here from Trump. Said anybody in BRICS is getting a 10% charge pretty soon. Reiterated that. Blake, up 1,700 bucks in the eval, looking to get funded soon, but not getting greedy. Good work, Blake. Good work. There is very much so proof of concept, all of you, in taking a good... Look at this. Jeez. In taking a good amount of trades, even in the eval, and being green. After even just a few days, if you've taken multiple trades a day, if you're green... especially heavy green after a few days and there wasn't like one giant outlier lucky trade. Okay, it's like maybe there's some proof of concept here. The longer that goes, the bigger the sample size of trades gets, the more proof of concept you get. Which is obviously can do wonders for your confidence, which is extremely important. Shit changes in a big way when you sit down every morning and just go, okay, I'm here to do my job, execute my plan, whatever happens, happens, and I'm out of here. Do my job, red or green. I'll make money at the end of the month. It's a big deal when you get to that point. Trump, we're probably 2 days off from sending the EU letter. A letter is a deal. Oh, by the way, you know, right now is Deal City in the prop firm space. Just a heads up, this 80% off and you can pass in 1 day at Apex. That means you could trade an eval today and be in a funded account tomorrow. That deal with code BIG, B-I-G, that ends in 11 hours. Okay, so if you're trying to hit some Apex accounts to scale horizontally, again, scale with Apex, I think, start maybe with take profits, scale bigger with Apex. That deal's over in 11 hours. All right, now take profit trader is still 40% off. No activation fee, which saves you 130 bucks just on the activation fee, and then, you know, whatever 40% off gets you for what account you choose. That will also be ending soon. Okay, so the deals might not be so great for a little while after these two end. So I think now is probably the time to beef it up if you're looking to. Again, same with code BIG. Okay, we got 38 seconds left here on this bear bar. Trump said I could go higher with tariffs. He said some letters are at a 60 to 70% rate. I could have been much harsher on trade. I didn't want to hurt them. Goodness, this is a big bar. That's a big, giant outsized bar. Range on this bar, we're looking at damn near 50 points, 45 points. I gotta let that do its thing. Wake back. All right, on to this next bar here. Grux, how do you copy trade Apex accounts? I throw them into my affordable indicators copy trader within NinjaTrader. And then I link my take profit trader accounts, which are Tradeovate, also into NinjaTrader and toss them into the same affordable indicators copy trader. Again, I have no affiliation with affordable indicators. Joel's a cool guy. He said, hey, we have this great copier. Love to see you test it out. I said, okay, I like testing things. And I tested it and I was like, shit, this is the best by far that I've ever used. So for your guys' benefit, I just tell you about it. I don't have a code or anything at Affordable Indicators. Still getting headlines here from Trump, man. We got to be careful. John! Alright gang, just like a few of us, I am breaking rules, so going with an hour in the corner. Yeah, you make that 2 hours in the corner, John. The last risk, the curl got me back to green for the day, so a good time to get my psychology back in check. Yeah, well, I mean, the good time would have been the first time you broke a rule. Make that about 90 minutes, okay? I'll give you a break. 90 minutes in the corner for you, John, for breaking rules. And that will be a good ROI on your time against the wall. $90 minutes. All right, we got a minute 25 left here on this 2-minute bar. Let's see what we get here. $40 seconds left on this 2-minute bar. If we can get a nice strong close out of the bulls, I will have to buy the rollover for a little scalp. ATR is back up at 18, which is good. Very much so improving after these Trump headlines. All right, 15 seconds. Copy trader is engaged. I need to see at least a close above 926 for me to be cool buying this rollover. Yeah, we're not going to get it, are we? Big wick back. All right, keeping an eye out here for a trading range. Big wick backs like that, you know, after we get headlines lately in the last few trading days, we've been seeing these moves turn right back into trading ranges. So we got to keep an eye out for that. Again, discretionary, but that is what we've been seeing. And the market is resistant to change. It doesn't like to change. Markets have inertia. Okay, so it wouldn't surprise me if we see it turn into a trading range. But if it does break out, also got to take a trade. And, you know, breakout. Breakout doesn't really mean breakout in a range market like this. It just means, okay, continuation scalp. Roaring, why don't you use a volume indicator? Volume, for me, is a really big deal on small cap momentum stocks, like pre-market. Very important to watch volume. It's top 3 in terms of importance. The way that I like to explain this is, like, small cap momentum stocks is like sailing over a coral reef. You want to be keeping an eye on the depth gauge. Because if you hit the reef, you're screwed. You're screwed. You're done. Trading futures is like sailing a relatively small sailboat in the middle of the Pacific. You have bigger shit to worry about than the depth gauge, right? That's the way that I look at this. There's nothing wrong with volume, but the futures market is so ridiculously deep that I don't need to spend too much of my mental capital, which is valuable, right? You can only look at so many things. Looking at the depth gauge, quote unquote, the volume. That's the way that I think about this. Not to say it's wrong. If you make money looking at volume, man, then make money. There's a million ways to do this. That's just how I think about it. But yes, Joe, I agree with you. Likely a trading range here. Gotta be careful trading breakouts. I'd be willing to, again, like take same directional trades, like continuation, little scalps. I'd be willing to, but it would have to look right. You know, right now, biggest risk is that this turns into a trading range and people that buy this just get reversed back in. So, you know, we gotta keep an eye on this. Again, there's a discretionary aspect, especially to recognizing range trading as early as possible. It's one of the more difficult things in trading is recognizing the context of the intraday move before a lot of other people, so you're able to make money off of it and have an edge. It's hard. It's hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's not easy to determine, okay, is this gonna go higher or turn into a trading range? But we're dealing in probabilities, not certainties. So we know that the bears are looking at this. It's just a matter of, are they strong enough to break it back into the range when we get a test? So far, it looks like, yeah, maybe they are. What's up, Ono? Good to see you. Yeah, Joe, you know, I'm a big fan of volume-weighted average price. Yeah. If you said, hey, you know, I don't know. If you're like, hey, I'll pay you every day to trade the volume-weighted average price instead of the 20 EMA, I'd be like, sure, doesn't matter to me. I'll just throw whatever up there. Yeah, maybe we'll swap out the 20 for a volume-weighted average price. Again, I don't care. On the 2-minute chart, I just don't care. Because no indicator on the 2-minute is more relevant than price action. So, yeah. Again, big fan of volume-weighted average price, but I don't know, it's just a 20 EMA on the 2 just for get my bearings, I guess. I don't really use it. Yes, oh no, we have taken, we took, I started late today on stream. I had to take care of a few things this morning. But I took one scalp early. It was a weird trade. It was kind of weird. We're up like 785. Small day so far. But I'm not done. We are not done. All right, trading range. So on to this next bar here, 1 minute and 52 seconds out. Pine Tree, what's up, brother? I think I've seen some of your stuff around, man. Keep rocking and rolling. Good to have you. All right. Trading range, trading range, trading range. Don't overthink this. Just draw it. Just draw it. Yep, that's about what people and algorithms are going to look at, right? So let's see if we can get a break. It would have to be a relatively strong break for me to sacrifice the buy low, sell high mentality. Right now, this is about 20 points wide, which is actually enough. It's kind of just barely enough. So I'm reasonably interested here. However, you know, you guys know me with these flat top, flat bottom, sideways channels. I start to get a little more hesitant than inside of a wedge, just because the probability of breaking a flat is slightly higher, in my experience. Oh no, let's go. I'm working on getting that second 150K Take Profit Pro 2K away. Take it easy, don't psych yourself out, just make good decisions. And if you get to the finish line, great. If you don't, well, you already have one, then you'll, try again. But take it easy, just make the best decisions you can and accept the outcome. But man, there's nothing... Those 150K take profits, man, once you're in a pro account, it is so nice, I'm telling you. The daily payouts is such a great thing. I know I've said this so many times, but we have some new people here today, so listen, guys, my theory on prop, if you're just getting started and you don't really have an edge yet, the cheapest thing you can do is wait for like an 80 or 90% off at Apex, probably like 80, which is what it currently is. Buy like a 50K or even 25K eval, trade one micro, a few days, few weeks, see if you can develop some kind of an edge. Then, when you're really ready to get started, my opinion, start with Take Profit Trader, get to the point where you have a few pro accounts and you can take payouts at least a few times a week, relatively consistently, get money in the bank account. Then you can get to a point where it's like, shit, like, I think I could probably do this full time just with these Take Profit accounts. Then you're getting to the point where you're damn near, if not already, full-time trading just with the Take Profit. Get money coming in. Take Profit lets you do daily payouts. It's fantastic. Get money in the bank. Be able to provide for yourself and your family. At least cover some, if not all, of your expenses. And then it's like, okay, I have some money coming in. Time to scale this bitch as big as I can. Take, 3, 4, 5 Take Profit Pros. And then go and try to get 5, 10, 15, 20 Apex funded accounts, and now you're scaling, and you can wait on the money from Apex. The Apex money it doesn't hit right away, but when it hits, it's usually a little bit bigger, right? Because you can scale to 20 accounts. But first, you need money coming in the bank account. Start with Take Profit, then hit Apex hard when it's time to scale horizontally. That's my, theory or my idea around this for someone who's a little bit newer, trying to just get money coming in. That, I think, is the best plan of attack. Always scaling horizontally, though. Trading relatively small in each account, scaling to as many accounts as you possibly can, long-term across as many props as you possibly can. When you get to the point where you have 20, 30, 40 funded accounts, man, the numbers, again, I said this earlier, the numbers have no choice but to just be big as hell anyway. Even trading small in each account. It's still tight, man. ATR is holding up at 15. But that's getting propped up by these bigger bars, these bigger ranges. Last bar had an 8 range. It's pretty tight. All right, guys, I'll tell you what, this trading range is tight. We got to wait for this to break, at least maybe give us a downside test or something. So I'll tell you what, it's I'm gonna go hit lunch. I'll come back in the afternoon, see what we can grab. But I appreciate you guys hanging out. Use code BIG. Best deal always at Take Profit and Apex. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. If you have not done so already, join the crew, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Scalping every single day. All right, guys. Appreciate you joining the stream. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.